MGM, welcome everybody to daily opening bell crypto updates and your new crypto macro and news that happened while you were sleeping. Second here, check a couple channels, see if it looks like it's going on. We're just gonna small make sure. Trade so the 1,000 range. Definitely not a good day. We released 2,000s, but meant to be. So we're gonna be afraid or not. So sorry, just take me a second. I may have to get a faster laptop because I have so many. Yep, it does look like we're live here. You know what? My green screen's not working very good, and neither is my camera, so I'm gonna lose me in the bottom right corner there. Let me pull up the chats too. If you want to say hi, have any questions, make any comments, please feel free. All the chats should feed in. We should check the chart. Testing 1, 2, 3. We should check the chart. Seems like the audio is a little choppy. I may need to get another phone cord. 2, 3. Here, I'll try and talk close to the mic. It seemed like it was a little bit fine. Looks like we're my ex is the morning Bitcoin show. Come on 4 years where okay, not worried much about. Let's get rolling here. Interesting, this this I think is the cause. Yes, basically money play this already MGM, man, good buddy. A little bit, so that was good to see you. On my computer slowing down, like I say, may have to get rid of it. Is open. Let's see if we can have so many windows open. Let's see if we can get this to play.
Amounts of 2008.
I think I refreshed it right as it was starting to work. So that screen share is working on. All right. Looks like I'm not having a great connection right here, which is because I am at my fiber. It should be going good. I may have to roll. First time I do, a lot of times I do my GM morning show, the Starlink Mini. Try this one last time here. Here we go. Try and play.
They have government bailout. Or the various components of the FMOC to bail out Bitcoin?
Could you please elaborate? What exactly does bail out Bitcoin
Okay, could
mean,
you
Congressman? That's a
instruct the
very-
banks of this country to buy Bitcoin, or change banking regulations so that they're encouraged to do so, reserve or otherwise required?
Again, with of asset diversification within banks, they
Yeah, pretty. Thanks. I did.
not have authority. That
Taxpayers, Treasury going to be deployed.
we are
That's not exactly taxpayer money.
no, that is an asset of the U.S.
It's an asset of the
It's an
U.S.
asset of the U.S. government.
Okay.
And
Are you going to invest in
now,
this time?
the asset seizure, that one bill seized, 500 million was retained. That 500 million has become over 15 billion.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Feel like that. How do people feel that is what caused the crash? I don't. I don't think that was it. I mean, basically, talking on the news how big one of the be paying here. Hold on. Share again the screen, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was bullish, and he did talk. But you know, obviously, yeah, they're not going to buy Bitcoin directly with tax dollars. It's got to be revenue neutral, right? So I think the fact that people, what caused crash isn't. We're not going to bail out Bitcoin. None of us here are looking for a bailout on Bitcoin, and it's kind of ridiculous for them to even. Anyway, kind of giving me a little bit of. Let me get out of this. Okay, there we go. Here was holding us. Yeah, so now we're. That was stupid. That they're going to. We know we're going to build a strategic fund. So it's I think super important. There, fiddle. I can make this to the screen. That's interesting. Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can just make this crypto bubbles. This is a crypto bubbles. This is my favorite. This is what I like to use for my. Oh, here we go. So I'm realizing that my connection's fine, but my computer seems a little bit slow here. See, I'm looking like a ghost here. Let me try and share that screen again. Okay, finally here. Okay, well, let's take a look. I didn't mean for that to take so long. Let's take a quick peek here and see what the markets are looking like. The idea is to kind of come in. I'd love to start at 9. Just sometimes it doesn't happen, but I'd love to start as early as possible so that we could. Let me see if I can make this fit a little bit better here. Back. Yeah, I think I needed to restart my computer this morning before I started all this stuff. So apologize for the slow response here. Nothing's quite working good today. Apologize for the technical challenges here. There we go. Okay, geez. Now let's refresh this real flat. It was looking at terrible, but sometimes a lot can change when the market opens. Okay, right now it looks like wow, taking quite a plunge. Next, overlooking over here at the right, down 1.1%. Looks like the Dow Jones down 0.63 and the S&P is down 0.84. So pretty good bud. Traditional markets. Let's look at the crypto, expecting a little bit of the same that we had already had a little bit. Let's see what we got. Actually, surprisingly, Bitcoin's up a little. Bitcoin here is at off its lows of right when I was getting the show ready. Before the market, we were down of 9,273. Actually, even though they're, I guess sometimes overnight we take our licks when nothing else can. We kind of become the whipping child, and so we're actually up off the lows. So that's nice. Back up over 70,000. We're still down 6.5% for the day, but we're up 1.1% for the hour. So I'm happy to see that. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, we're at let's see, we're at 2,086. So we're off the lows as well. We're up down 5.6% for the day. So a lot of bad stuff happens since yesterday, but up 1% for the hour. So surprisingly, I guess we overcorrected. BNB, which is the second largest layer one, the Binance blockchain by market cap anyway. 7.9%. We're at 684.04, down 7.9, up 1.3. XRP. A lot of XRP fans out there. We're $1.30, 12.4% for the day. Wow, up 1% for. It's been very volatile, up more and down more than the other top 10, 15 coins. Solana, Solana at $90.48, down 4.1% for the day, down or plus 1.9%, and off the lows of 88.24. So this is really low. Versus Solana. So yeah, traditional market bleeding. We're doing a little bit better here. Sorry, I've still got a little bit of a cold from my trip to California. Still can't quite figure out how a trip to California in all the sunshine caught a cold. But yeah, here we are, $69,000 Bitcoin we hit today. Like I say, the exact low point, at least going in crypto bubbles, which is a conglomerate. Averages out a lot, 69,273. So down there also, this is the first time we've fallen below 70,000 since November 2024. So crazy times. So silver Silver took about a 16% hit last night. Kind of brought back a lot. It kind of had a rebound. Obviously it had those massive all-time highs. But then, of course, last Friday, I was out at the Hone Ranch, a ranch, massive private ranch, about an hour and a half north of LAX. And wow, I saw silver. I had my Starlink. I was doing a few things. I live streamed some California condors, the biggest and rarest bird in America, 9-foot wingspan. One point, there's only 22 of them. A lot of the ones currently live on that ranch. So I live streamed a couple using my Starlink, but I checked in and it's like, wow, silver had taken a 40% hit. So that was pretty brutal. But anyway, got a lot of that back, but now we had another 16% plunge. Another thing that's kind of crazy, and we're talking about, and we have it in the thumbnail, Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, we reported on him yesterday saying layer twos really aren't the way to go, right? Well, today, in the last couple of days, he sold 2,972 Ethereum, basically worth 6.69 million. Now, almost always when he sells that, he donates it to charity, but still just kind of tone deaf given the situation. Like, I don't know who's advising him, and it's still a small amount of what he owns. But man, to just be dumping in this brutal market when perception is everything, you've got the founder dumping it, even if it's for charitable reasons or whatever, and maybe a small percentage, he's still tanking the market and really making perception. So not happy about that, Vitalik. I don't know if he's a super smart guy, but not always maybe the most, maybe not the most socially savvy. We've got Michael Burry, famous for The Big Short, played by the guy who played Batman. A great show, one of my favorite shows about the housing crisis. He warns that Bitcoin's decline will wipe out significant value for companies holding large amounts on their balance sheet. He says Bitcoin has failed as a safe haven like gold and behaves much more like a volatile stock tied to the S&P. Aggressive holders face bankruptcy risk as it continues to fall, potentially triggering broader market turmoil. Look, the guy's a legend, what he did, making what, $500 million or a few billion, whatever it was, for his clients. Like I say, I watch that movie at least 4 or 5 times a year, just kind of remind me how sometimes everyone can be missing it. Guy's a legend. I completely disagree with him here, and I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I guess we'll see who's right. But yeah, listen, we are treating, we act like a risk-on asset, volatile asset right now. There's right. However, to say that it's failed and we're going down to nothing or whatever, and all these companies like MicroStrategies and things like that are going to fail. I couldn't disagree with him more. So legend in one case, I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I guess time will tell. Smart guy, no question, but I think he's missing it here. And that's sometimes how it is, right? Just, you got it right once. And he's a very smart investor. I love the guy, but I don't think he knows what he's talking about here. So there's my 2 cents. Binance hired AI Tamini & Company, a UAE-based law firm, to go after ex-users posting about the exchange's potential insolvency. Despite CZ claiming FUD, hundreds of users report being contacted directly by CZ or other Binance executive. I've seen a lot of this. They're going after, there's a lot of FUD with Binance, and they're insolvent. They caused the 1010 wreck, stuff like that, which they may have, or at least their exchange might have been completely inadvertently. They're far from insolvent. Just yesterday, they're converting their Seifu fund, a typo by CZ back in 17 or 18. Your funds are Seifu, he said. So anyway, the Seifu fund has over $1 billion. Just yesterday, they converted 115 million of that into Bitcoin. It was always in stable coins, and now he's converting it over into Bitcoin. So yeah, I like this, and this is what I've kind of been making this point. By the way, like and follow me if you see me on Twitter, if you're not already following me, or on Rumble, or on YouTube. I'm just getting started on those 2 platforms. Just doing the live format, new to me. I've been doing the Spaces for 4 years now. right after this space, I always jump on and do the ENS Bitcoin morning. ENS we do talk about ENS. We started out as an ENS show, Ethereum name service, but GM Bitcoin morning show. So come catch it on there. We got some great co-hosts and speakers and hundreds of people come and join us every day for that. But I've been making this point for a long time. And here's my guy, British Hodl. Hodl, once again, if you're new to Bitcoin, somebody early days, like early first couple years of meant to write hold, when it was dropping, and wrote hodl. So we call it hold on for dear life for hodl. It's kind of, once again, another terminology we use. But British Hodl says the single only way that, and here's a guy from Britain having to point this out, but a lot of people don't get it. The single only way the Trump administration wins this midterm is through absolutely printing and pumping the market and economy. There's no other way to avoid a Democratic win. Trump knows that. Bessent knows that. Seems the only crowd that don't get it are Bitcoiners. So kind of hilarious. But listen, it's don't worry too much. We have to do it. There's different theories. There's the 4-year cycle, which I think has kind of been broken. Unless maybe it isn't. Maybe we're just in the next bear market phase of it. Always, it'll be more clear looking back. But we used to have a very clear 4-year cycle. It could be the macro indicators I'd like to look at, and I've mentioned it on the show, is the M2 money supply. It's at all-time high. Where's a big divergence? I think we catch up. I think we catch up to gold and silver as well. At some point, Bitcoin overtakes gold, the market cap of gold, which would put us over $2 million. I think that happens. I've been saying that for almost 10 years now. Back in the day, it was only about $480,000 Bitcoin before gold went on such this crazy run. But yeah, British Hodl gets it, even though a lot of us Americans don't. Another thing, everyone's talking about the weak dollar and this, and absolutely wants the weak dollar. Okay, it helps, because think about it. It makes foreign goods look more expensive to Americans. We buy less foreign goods. It makes our goods look cheaper to foreign people. They buy more. Yeah, it's not as easy for us to travel and stuff, but who benefits from that? Other countries, not us. So maybe people stay here and do more stuff in America if the dollar's weaker. But it's absolutely a strategy. Trump and Bessent have said several times they wanted a weaker dollar. So don't panic with that. It's just not understanding what's going on. Now, we don't want it to get too weak, and we don't want it to not become the world reserve currency, but we're far from that. But here's Bull Theory here on X saying Bitcoin has erased the entire gain it made since Trump won the election. BTC pumped 78% after Trump became president and is now back at the same level as November 2024. Look at that chart. Absolutely painful. It's been a horrible year. It really has. But you know what? This is what we signed up for. This is why we make the big bucks. You just have to kind of become immune. Kind of have to get some thick skin and just not panic, because you panic and sell your Bitcoin like I did at under $200, right? Panicked. It had gone up to over $1,000 and came back under $200. Stayed there for 3 years. Partners and I sold all our Bitcoin. Didn't think it was going up. I didn't really understand Bitcoin. That was like 2015 or so. I got involved with Bitcoin. I've been involved mining and stuff for 15 years. I didn't really get it, and I didn't really become full-time until 2016, late 2016, early 2017. So I've been here about 10 years. My full-time job, my day job is I do run a fund. We started in 2020, crypto venture fund. We invest in companies and crypto and things like that. But anyway, look, there is some good news out there. We talked about bad news. There's tons of tailwinds still happening. I love this Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker, big guy in the does a lot of shows and stuff. Should be following. I love what he says here. Here he is. He's got a lot of followers. Let's see how many he does. Yeah, he's got 1 million followers. So anyway, does a lot of podcasts and stuff. Good dude out here. I liked what he said here. Fortunes are made in the bear markets. For some reason, I saw that. It was just like a shot in the arm. It was just like, we hear the things. We hear the sayings all the time. Sometimes they hit harder. Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. We'll talk about the fear and greed index here in a minute. But yeah, just, I don't know, that just really, really hit hard with me today. Fortunes are made in the bear market. Keep that in mind. I actually did some content yesterday about a meme coin called Landwolf, which is one of the, in the comic book with the early Pepe, created by Matt Fury. It's not time to be looking at meme coins. It's barely in the top 1,000. It's about an 8 million market cap. But I thought, what? Value here, and I want people to start looking at it. Doesn't mean you need to be buying right now. Right now, I'm primarily buying Bitcoin. This week, I've been able to get about 0.1 Bitcoin. I've been buying a little bit every day. Don't have a ton of liquid to buy it, but getting ready to make some drastic moves if Bitcoin goes down low or stays here. But anyway, yeah, so, start in the bear is where you make your money. When the bull market, it's just everyone's making money. It's just you're making more or less. But sometimes it gets so crazy, you don't really have time to learn. You don't really have time to research stuff like that. So now's a good time to get ready. And we often have the saying, build in the bear for companies, companies that are building in the bear market, and they're not worried about price. They're not worried about any of that. They're just got their heads down and build. Those are the kind of companies I like to invest in. JP Morgan here saying, this is from the Bitcoin conference, which they have in Vegas. I was there last year, and then they had it in Abu Dhabi, I believe it was, or Dubai. I'm pretty sure it was Abu Dhabi a month or so, a couple months ago, but it'll be coming back in April this year. I actually thought it was a lot later, but anyway, at the Venetian, great event. Go there and you will not be bearish. And I don't even know where all those people came from, to be honest with you. I know they're not all on here on Twitter. That's why I'm kind of trying to reach out to YouTube and Rumble. I may start doing some stuff on TikTok. I was on TikTok for my first time last night. Man, a lot of XRP lovers over there. Interesting. All I saw was, of course, I don't even know how to get around it, but all I saw was XRP. You would have thought it was Bitcoin, but nothing wrong with XRP. I just don't think it's funny how, and that, I've long had a thesis because everyone I talk to, XRP, what do you think about XRP? And I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. When there's a solid blue chip, and if you like it, hold it, buy it, whatever. You'll make money. But I'm just wondering where all this information is getting out to the public, and maybe it's TikTok. But anyway, JP Morgan said that Bitcoin is more attractive long-term than gold. So, also, we showed yesterday, I don't think we played the clip, but we had Kathy Woods of ARK Investments saying you're better off buying Bitcoin than gold right now. So gold and silver might be a little toppy. And also right here, they announced that Nat Brunel, one of my favorite spokesmen for Bitcoin, to be honest with you, Nat Brunel will be a keynote speaker there. She recently had a book called Coin Stories. You ought to get the book. You ought to follow her. Nat, I think it's NAT BRUNELL at Nat Brunel, I think is her name on Twitter. But anyway, she's just great. She gets on CNBC, Fox News, a lot of these channels. She just does really good, really positive, really fun. Like I say, really carries that excitement. Very, very, very good on her thesis with Bitcoin. So yeah, I definitely follow Nat Brunel. I'm looking forward to hearing her speak this year in Vegas. Speaking of the fear and greed, let's take a look. We are now at extreme fear. One of my favorite indicators, and one of the reasons I love to buy is I love to use this as a channel to buy. Almost never can you go wrong. By the way, welcome to all our listeners out there. See, we've got 68 listeners on X on our live stream. Welcome. Tough times out there, really tough times. And if you haven't been here a few cycles, if you're new, you may truly be panicking. You may truly feel like this, you may be feeling that extreme fear. And what I will just say is this is very typical of Bitcoin. Even in bull markets, bear markets, we have these pullbacks. They used to be more drastic than they are now. So what I would say is keep your head up. Listen, obviously it's a great time to start dollar cost averaging if you can. A lot of times we get so far extended that we can't, and it's painful to watch. Like if your entry was 110 into Bitcoin, 120, whatever, and you have no more money to buy, it's truly painful to sit and watch this. It's hard. And I would say get out, touch some grass. ignore the charts a little. Hopefully you're not using leverage. My thesis on leverage is this. In generally, I say stay away from leverage. I used to stay away from high leverage, which I was thinking 10, 15, 20, 50x leverage. But even anymore with how crazy since 1010, man, I don't even trust 2, 3x leverage. But I will say it like this. If you really know what you're doing, that's okay. Just like none of us would jump in an airplane and expect to do anything but crash and burn, right? Same with leverage. If you haven't had that same dedication and level of learning that you would on to fly a plane, if you haven't spent at least that much time learning leverage, spending time on the simulator, play with fake money or play with a couple $100, if you haven't done that and proved yourself, 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in less than 90 days. So I might generally say stay away from leverage. That doesn't mean there's not some people that are proficient. Once again, I don't know that many people that fly planes. And I know those that do spend a lot of time. They're very careful. And, so I'm not going to say you can't become proficient leverage, but don't believe these guys on TikTok with their rented cars and fake Rolexes or borrowed Rolexes or whatever telling you it's easy. It's not, right? There's better ways. But if you want to learn that, then treat it as if you were going to fly a plane and you and your family are in there. And that's how serious I would take it. So generally speaking, I say stay away from leverage unless you really, really know what you're doing. Buy quality, right? Buy quality. There's no reason to go too far down the risk curve right now. When you have blue chips that are there, that have communities that aren't going away, right? Bitcoin, a lot of those in the top 100 just aren't going anywhere, right? Bitcoin, XRP, Chainlink, a lot of the layer one, Sui, Say, all those. We can look down the. We'll save that for another day when we have more money. More money. Yeah. We all wish we had more money, but when we have more time. But yeah, fear and greed to me, I love it. But listen, if you're scared out there, don't do what I did, which was panic sold my Bitcoin below $200, like hundreds and hundreds of Bitcoin. Also lived through the Mt. Gox crash, which turned a lot of us off. And I panicked one more time. in 2017 on an Ethereum trade. I sold my Ethereum at like $618. Within 2 days, it was $1,200. So that was the last time I kind of panicked. I panicked those 2 times. Haven't panicked since. Doesn't mean it's painful. Doesn't mean it's easy. But just don't be scared. Just realize that Bitcoin's not going away. I would say it's the best time ever to buy Bitcoin. I'll show you a few more things. I got my show coming up. I'll kind of machine gun these last few points, but it's the best time, in my opinion, ever to buy. By the way, we did have U.S. initial jobless claims. Actual was 231, forecast 212, previous 209. So it's worse. Unemployment's worse. The Fed has a dual mandate: keep inflation down, which, if you believe Trueflation, which I do, it's way under 2%. But their other one is employment. So this makes it more likely to cut rates. So bad news can be good news sometimes. Not that I think Powell's going to. Brazil advanced a bill to ban algorithmic stablecoins and requires 100% reserves. So, we've had problem with algorithmic stablecoins where they try and tie it to this or tie it to that. Most people are going to go to a reserve. You have to have X amount of reserves, whether it be dollars, gold, bonds, things like that. Not surprising. I think everyone's going that direction. My strategy currently has unrealized $0.5 billion. He started getting in at around 10,000, by the way, and was always has been tens of billions of profit in the past, but he still buys. He won't quit buying. He's structured to where he can ride through it. Same with Tom Lee. Tom Lee's about $7.5 billion in his but MicroStrategy. I'm still a buyer of MicroStrategy. I don't buy stocks, to be honest with you, but I would buy MicroStrategy. It's kind of a leveraged. You can kind of look at it as a leverage position. You can buy it in your 401k and stuff like that. MSTR, and he's got some other products as well that can pay like 11% a year. Let's hit these last couple points, and then I'll get ready for my other show. This is interesting from Unusual Wells. Bank of America's sell side indicator signals the S&P could gain roughly 12% over the coming year. My biggest fear is being down here and having the traditional market tank, 10, 12%, and we really go down hard, right? And as it is, we may be looking at high 50s, maybe I heard some analysts today saying that maybe max fear is around 49,000, 48,000. So it could happen, but this is interesting. Him saying the S&P could go up another 12%. As long as the S&P is going up, we're going to go up. We're going to play catch up. No matter what happens, though, I'm here. I'm buying more. I'm going crazy. The market cap dropped like 3.5 trillion or 2.5 trillion or something. I can't remember what it was yesterday. I remember when the whole market cap dropped below 100 billion. All of Bitcoin and crypto and everything was worth less than PayPal. Needless to say, I sold my life insurance, cashed it out, put it all in Bitcoin, everything I could. Italy's central bank says Bitcoin is the most technically robust crypto in the world. I don't agree with that necessarily, but it is definitely the strongest, probably safest. I think that's what they're trying to say. But anyway, nonetheless, love to see central banks talking positive, talking bullish on Bitcoin. JP Morgan said Bitcoin is now even more attractive than gold. And I think we mentioned he would say it yesterday. And last but not least, we've got Korea, which is one of the most they're one of the countries that has the most saturation, most adoption of crypto. Back during the ICO craze, little kids during the 2017, early 18 ICO craze, which are initial coin offerings, kind of IPOs. It was crazy days, but the kids there, they had to take the little kids in elementary school, had to take their phones because they were doing ICOs. But anyway, big country, big economy over there in Asia. South Korea officially lifts 9-year ban on companies buying Bitcoin. Listen, keep your head up. Let's take one last look what Bitcoin's doing here. I'm positive. We're still holding that 76.20. Actually gone up a little off the low of 69,000. I think there's never been a way. Stay positive. I'll see you tomorrow. If you like this kind of content, give me a follow, retweet it, make a comment, and everyone have a great day. And we'll be back tomorrow, which is, what is today? Thursday. Wow, I lost a day. Probably because I've been sick. But anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow for wrap up the week, and we'll see where we go here. And stay sane. Don't let Wall Street steal your sats, steal your Bitcoin. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for